Hey guys, it's Ricardo Garcia here. So today I'm going to be bringing you Won Hyo, the fourth Hyung in the Chunji, Chunji set, if you can call them that, or the Chang Hyungs. So Won Hyo, the way I kind of see it is, again, it's just more options as to what you can do with that arm. It's showing you different striking options, different ways that you can reach the jaw and or other knockout targets behind the head. For the first few sequences, it shows you a little bit more on how to flow if you ever get blocked on a shot, which is super cool as well. And then it kind of gives us a really good first idea of the takedown using a strike with a kick to the legs. So I'll go ahead and be demonstrating that for you guys here in just a second. Feel free to go ahead and skip through the video, run back, run through it a few times so you guys can understand it. And I'll just leave all the information there for you guys so you guys can breeze through it. Okay? Thanks. Check it out. Alright guys, so we're going to be starting out with the very first sequence in the form, right? So it starts out with the prepare like this, okay? Left hand over the right hand closed. And what that can simply represent is one hand grabbing and the other hand behind. So we're going to take that movement as someone is doing a choke to us. So typically when we think of applications, we like to think of them in a proactive mindset. So I'm striking at a target, and if they block, then I'll strip the limb and I'll strike through and keep on going. In this case, we'll go ahead and start the form with the first move. As a defense, someone's coming in to choke you, they're reaching out their hands, and here's what you can do from that position. So I'll go ahead and have, we'll demonstrate here. So again, if she was going for that choke, it would look like this. Go ahead and switch hands. Good, so one hand right here, grabbing across the throat, and one hand behind. Now the key is you don't want to wait until this is already locked on. If someone's reaching out their hands, then you can manipulate them from there. So if we reset and she starts reaching out, I'm taking one hand and I'm bringing it off to the side. So I'm getting to the outside of her. Okay, we'll show that again. So she's reaching out, taking one hand off to the side. Now, if I get control of this arm, I'm going to go ahead and use the move from Dung Gun, the square block. I'm going to rake down to bring her head forward, and I'm going to lift up. So that's shot number one, is a shot under the jaw. Okay. Now the next one it shows, I would take this hand, I would pull it in tight. Okay, so I'm holding and controlling that limb. I take my other hand, and they show a knife hand strike coming in. Boom. Okay. So this one's coming in right here to the neck. So I can knock her out by hitting her on the jaw. I can knock her out by hitting her on the neck. Even up here to the face would be a good shot too, to the jawline. The last one, number three, I could also take this hand and I can reach over top and strike. Now, depending on which school you're practicing in, sometimes that strike is done with the sequence 1, 2, and then they'll move their front foot into a fixed stance or move forward or jump, or there's some kind of movement like that. So you can think about it something as similar as, again, she reaches out to hit me. I take that arm, I bring her down. 1, 2. If she sees the shot coming over, she might lean away from it, right? Go ahead and lean away from it. So I wouldn't be able to reach her from this position. So that just might be showing if they're leaning in, I can move forward and go for that next strike. So that's sequence one in the Won Hyo pattern. Again, that looks like this. So we're going to be moving on to the second part of the form. So after you've accomplished this sequence off to your right hand side, you pull them back into this kind of double hand stack position. You reach your hand out and you go ahead and do a side kick. I'm going to turn to the side so you guys can see it. So I lift up here, I bring my leg in, and I side kick. Okay? Following that movement, I'll face the front, and again I'll be going for a oh, my mistake. So following this movement, I go to the front, I get that side kick, and I'll land in a pseudo block. Okay? So again, the whole sequence would be 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. I pull it back into this teacup chamber, reach out, side kick, land, pseudo block like so. So the way that would work, same idea. If I was doing the sequence and I'm behind her, whether it was here, here, or here, either one's okay. Let's say I'm here. I just did this strike. Okay. After the strike, immediately taking this hand, going to the cloth right here on the shoulder, moving off behind the opponent, lifting my leg, and driving it into the knee while pulling. So it's a very easy way to take someone down, just kicking out their legs. Okay. Now as for the pseudo block, as a follow-up, let's say again she's reaching to get my neck here. Okay, now I initially showed as she reaches in, I'm taking that arm and I'm moving off to the side. So she reaches in this time, maybe I'm on the inside. Maybe I wasn't able to push an arm and get to the outside. So it shows you what she can do from the inside again. She's reaching in and I'm moving in and I trap an arm, I take it, and I get that pseudo block. Okay, this strike to the side of the neck is another way to knock someone out. Okay, now it shows 3 of them in a row. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, moving forward. And the idea with that being, she's in front of me, I've gotten into this position. Okay, now the next part being I chamber or I put my arms up. So I push her head away. And let's say she's shooting another shot and at the same time. So in order to stop her from doing that, she goes to shoot her shot, I push her head away. Okay? Now at the same time as I do that, go ahead and keep on shooting that shot, keep your arm out. At the same time as I'm doing that, I move towards it. My back arm is going to come up and chamber for the next strike. This is also an elbow to the jaw. I wrap the arm and I strike into the neck. So last one being she shoots in her shot, I push the head, I go over top, bring this elbow through, elbow to the jaw, and then strike in again here. So kind of keeping this brace position away from me. So that'd be like the third part of the form. So we got here, both sides, pull it up, side kick, and then 3 of these pseudo blocks, okay? These end again with this move that we saw from Do-san, which again is just a really simple takedown. So if we do get into this position where I've shot through, I've controlled the arm, and I strike, I could follow up with more strikes to the head. I could also go through and take her down. So this would be the off-balancing motion, right? I off-balance her. And then as I spin, she would fall down. So now we're going to be moving on to the 4th sequence in the form, right? So in the form, once you get to this position, you spin around, and you'll do the exact same sequence once again. So we'll skip that one, but we're going to move into the next part. So once you've done this again, here, I bring my feet together, I step out, this arm will come down and loop through, a circle block. Depending on which school you're in, kind of like what style that you perform the specific form in, you might get a little bit more of a bend out into it. When I learned it, it was always just straight into it. This is out at 45 degrees. So what's that representing? Let's say that I took the inside line, right? So I did the pseudo block. If I had controlled this arm, moved in, and I strike, if she was to block it, this is the only hand she can really block it with, right? So as she blocks it and she gives good force, I'm not going to fight that force against her. I'm just going to flow with it. So what the form shows me to do is I'll hit a front stance. My back hand is going to swim underneath in this little triangle here. Swim underneath, and it's going to perform that circle block. So I feel her arm. I keep contact with her arm. I move it off to the side. Now from this position, I'm going to go ahead and grip on the wrist and turn my hips. All right. So the sequence would be in the form: 1, back leg kick or front kick, followed by a reverse punch. Now this is mirrored right here. So again, I get that strike in. 1. If she was to be blocking it though, she blocks it and I go ahead and flow through, bring it here, and I turn her body. Okay? Now from this position, I should have one leg in front, one leg behind. Okay? Go ahead and switch those feet for me. Good. So I turned her body. Now I have open access to this leg right here. Okay? So my back leg is going to shoot in a front kick. Boom. And I'm going to end with that strike right here. Okay? So effectively it turns into here. I kick, strike. Same idea. Here, she blocks it. I flow through, bring it around, kick, and then I get a strike right here with the backhand. All right, so now that we've learned all those different sequences to form, we're going to take the last kick and connect it. So before we learn how we get to the back of the opponent, we grab the shoulder, we bring up our leg, we kick out at the back or the side of their knee to bring them down. Okay? Now, in order to assist them with falling down, once you get this kick in, you can also reach up and grab with both hands. So 2 hands gripping, and then I would pull them down. And in the form, this looks like this. So you get that here, double stack position, side kick. The hands come up, closed fist, and they would turn into a closed hand pseudo block, is what I learned it being called as. So the way that looks is, we're again here. Let's say again, I get to the outside, right? And I could have gotten to the outside through like in dung gun, for instance. I strike the neck, I bring my hand down, I push the arm, and now I'm on the outside. Okay, in this form, maybe I got to the outside in any other number of ways. Now, I'm here. Okay, after this strike, I reach, I grab, like we did before. I bring my leg up, and I'll strike into the back of the knee. Okay, now you see how that brings her head down a little bit? From that position, I would grab whatever I can grab, head, hair, cloth on the shirt, and I would turn, and I would let her down onto the ground. Okay? So one more time, the way that would look. If I say strike to the neck, I use dung gun, so I sweep the arm back, I keep contact. Okay? From right here, I'll reach through, gripping at the shoulder, and I could use this arm as well. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and strike into the knee, grab, and this could be again here if I needed it for safety. I'll grab right here, and I'll turn, and I'll drag her down. So that gives you a little summation of all the different applications throughout the form. I'm just going to real quick show you how to flow through the very first part of the form to the last part of the form and really work all those different sequences. The one difference here is we're going to save the side kick to the very end of the form. So it'll look like this. My partner, they're going to reach out, and it doesn't matter which hand. It could be this one, it could be the other one. I'm going to be taking it and moving it off to the side. I'm going to go through strike 1, or option 1, we should say, option 2, option 3. Okay, so that goes to our first part. Now from this position, we can do it a couple ways. We can do it a couple ways, but we'll just stick with this one for now. She's going to shoot in a shot from the back hand. So I'm going to cover, I move in, I get that elbow to the jaw, and I strike into the neck. And I can do that 3 times. So that's 1, she shoots in a shot. 2, one more time. 3. Now once I get to this position, I can step through, break her balance. Okay? So I break balance. Go ahead and don't fall yet. Just go ahead and step back a little bit. Good. So I break her balance. Now let's say, for instance, for the drill, that doesn't work initially speaking. So I'm going to go right back into the same strike, and she's going to block it. Now as she blocks it, I'm going to shift stance 45 degrees. This hand's going to loop underneath and through and secure the arm. Notice how I turned her body, and that makes this leg move forward and bend. So from right here, I'm going to go ahead and kick that target and then strike through right here. Okay? Now from this position, since I'm already at the back of her, I'm going to go ahead and move out. I grab, and I get that strike. I grip, I turn, and I'll go ahead and bring my partner down. All right, guys, so that's the drill. Hope you guys have some fun with it. I hope these give you some good ideas of things that you can go and work through with your form. And I mean, yeah, just quick little heads up. Ian Abernathy, he devised a drill for the karate forms, and this form Won Hyo is really closely related to, in Shotokan, I believe they call it Hyun Nidan, if I remember correctly. So this form is more or less Taekwondo's copy of that same form. So the applications are going to be super, super similar, with just 1 or 2 little differences, obviously, in what's shown versus the karate version and the Taekwondo version of these forms. So it would be a good idea to go check out the karate version of the same general form, and that way you guys can get some context or different ways to do things as well. Well, I hope that was all helpful for you guys. I hope you found this video useful. Please drop it a like. If you liked it, please feel free to subscribe. Click the little bell icon so you guys can get notifications when I post new videos. All right, thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you guys have a good time training.